Hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome to another episode of the Trainer Talk. Today we're going to be talking about self-care, just taking care of yourself and what that means and what it looks like. Hopefully we can give you guys some tips and insights on what to do and the benefits of doing so. Obviously, we all know that we need to take care of ourselves. We know a general idea of what we need to do. The problem is just actually doing it. So we want to try to give you some action items to take at the end of this. But when I think about self-care, there's a few topics that we wrote down that we think of. Obviously, eating healthy nutrition, exercising and moving your body, hydrating your body, getting good night's sleep in recovery, showing gratitude and having a positive mindset on life, and also just developing strong, powerful relationships with your friends and family, co-workers, things like that. So that's all going to help you take care of yourself and basically just live a more meaningful life and a more healthier lifestyle. So going into, we'll just kind of go through each topic quickly. The three of us, starting with the healthy nutrition. I personally think that you should try to just eat whole foods, avoid foods high in added sugars, preservatives, and highly processed foods. So for example, highly processed foods, you could think of apple juice, applesauce, and an apple. So the apple juice is the most processed. It's going to have the highest amount of sugar in there and the least amount of nutrients. The next option would be your applesauce. It's going to be a little bit less processed, but still going to have a lot of sugar, and it's not going to have the fiber and the vitamins from the apple, which is the least processed. So when I think about eating food, I want to try to eat as whole as possible, or as close to the natural source, just to fuel my body, get those vitamins and minerals from that. So that's kind of my take on the whole foods. We'll keep it really, really basic. Maybe I'll let these guys go a little bit more in depth on what they do.
Yeah, so for nutrition, when you're talking about like self-care versus like if you're just talking about weight loss for nutrition, when we say it all comes down to like calories and macros, it's true for weight loss, but not for taking care of ourselves. So there's actually been diets where people ate strictly like Doritos or Twinkies or McDonald's and they still lost weight and lost body fat. It's because they controlled their calories and all that, but their overall health declined. Like they, rebounded and everything like that. They just felt awful during it. So, taking care of ourselves isn't just about like having good nutrition to lose weight or like, following some sort of a plan. It's about like actually fueling our bodies, because what we eat is going to literally become our body, our cells. So if we're feeding ourselves junk, we're just gonna feel like junk. And if we're fuel ourselves healthy foods, then we're gonna feel healthy. So taking care of yourself, self-care, doing more of the whole unprocessed foods, making sure you're getting enough food, that's also self-care. You don't wanna be super restrictive or like punish yourself by like restricting food or something like that.
I just want to add really quickly to that as well, because she talked about you don't want to punish yourself with not enough food. You also, you hear all the time, respect yourself and love yourself no matter what, and just eat whatever you want. Honestly, if you respect yourself and love yourself, you wouldn't be filling your body with unhealthy foods. I hate that. I get where their message is going. They're trying to make people feel comfortable and not, have low self-esteem and low self-confidence. But honestly, if you think about it, if you're filling your body with like junk and you're gaining fat mass and becoming overweight, you are not respecting and taking care of yourself. Your body is inflamed and it's in pain, and you're not doing yourself any favors. So I just want to throw that out there. Don't go the other way with it either. You need to respect yourself, take care of yourself, and not overeating the junk either. With that being said, you can enjoy those foods. Like we talk about it all the time. We like ice cream, we like cookies, like we still eat that stuff and we enjoy it. We just make sure it's in moderation. Most of the time, 80% or so, we are eating healthy, dense nutrition foods to feel our best and fuel our workouts and our lives. But we do tend to like to turn to some, I guess you'd call it junk food, as a reward and just to kind of get that hit of dopamine and feel a little bit better. So just wanted to point that out. I'll go ahead and let Nathan tell what he wants to share.
It's kind of like the saying, life is short, eat dessert first. Right?
Yeah.
That's what reminds me of that. So on the nutrition aspect, try to set yourself up with good foods. Like going back to some of the talks in the past, we always say like set yourself up for success. You want to plan ahead and keep the bad foods out of reach, keep it out of your house. So practicing eating good fats, whole carbs or fibrous carbs, and I think it still holds true that the more colorful the meal, like the more nutritious it is, for the most part. Unless it's Fruit Loops. Thank you for that. And so practicing good nutrition like also leads to good body and brain function. Nutrition going as far as hydration as well. So if you're not practicing good hydration, taking in enough water and good fluids, then your nutrition is still down, I'd say. So, and people don't actually recognize like poor hydration as a sign of poor health sometimes. I think that's one of the sneaky things about that. So,
yeah, which is, we might as well just jump right into that topic, because that was one of the other, I actually had hydration separate from healthy nutrition. So when I think of healthy nutrition, we're thinking about the food, the fuel, but hydration is a whole other aspect. I mean, we are made of water, it's like 60-70% water, and we wake up every single day dehydrated. You're slightly dehydrated when you wake up, and that's why we have that grogginess, the brain fog. You know, you're trying to kind of wake yourself up. But the problem is a lot of us just turn straight to refined carbs. So you eat like a donut or a bagel or cereal or something like that, and you don't drink water, or you'll have coffee or something like that, or an energy drink or a pop. And you're still going to be operating slightly dehydrated all day. There's actually studies that show that when you're at a certain level of dehydration, it's very little, like maybe 3 or 4%. It's kind of like functioning being intoxicated. So they've actually done studies where they basically dehydrated or sleep deprived people and did a driving test compared to people that were drunk, and people that were dehydrated and sleep deprived, they actually did worse, which is kind of crazy to think about. So if you want to feel your best, have that mental energy and focus, clarity, and just feel better overall, make sure, my biggest tip would be to drink like 12 to 20 ounces of water as soon as you wake up before you do anything else. If that means you have to fill your shaker cup up and sit it right next to your toothbrush in the morning, do so. And then you can have your coffee or your breakfast. Hopefully it's not just a donut or a cereal. Try to get some healthy fats and protein in there as well.
Yeah. Kind of on the hydration part is it's like not just water too. We need to make sure that we are adding in like electrolytes to that. I know we've talked about it before, but you know, we do need salt, especially if we're working out and sweating it out, and we're having a relatively, you know, minimally processed diet with whole foods, because we really don't get a lot of sodium from that. So it's actually necessary to add salt to your food, or add a pinch of salt, like pink Himalayan salt, to your water with like some lemon, because I don't know, I get bored of plain water, so I add lemon juice and then the pinch of salt. That gives it a little bit of flavor to it. With the water though, just making sure that you're getting enough throughout the day. Like try to set a goal like earlier in the day and try to get it mostly between a certain window. So whether that's before 2 p.m. and then just kind of sipping after that, because we don't want to be chugging water at night, because then you're going to be up all night peeing. So then it will disrupt your sleep, and then you know you won't get as much sleep and be worse off the next day. So that's just kind of my tip there. Just try to get most of your water intake in during the day.
Yeah, and try to get at least 64 ounces of water is probably what I would recommend for most people. But the real goal would be about half your body weight. It all kind of depends on like how active you are, how much you're sweating throughout the day as well, how much fluids you need to replenish. But you know, for us, like for me, since we work out typically an hour to 2 hours every day, we sweat a lot, we're constantly moving. I drink about a gallon of water a day, and that seems to be about the minimum I get actually. So shoot for about 64 ounces. If you're somebody that hasn't drank a lot of water in the past, that would be a good starting point. You know, that's only 4 of these throughout the day. Like she said, try to maybe get 2 of them done before lunch, or maybe before breakfast or something like that. And then shoot up toward half your body weight would be my recommendation.
I actually want to continue a little bit more about the electrolytes.
Yeah.
I think it's funny when I joke with Kate about this all the time, and she's not here right now, but I drink pickle juice from the jar. She kind of gags at that. but it's full of potassium, which is one of those essential electrolytes which you need for muscle contractions, along with calcium actually. So even though we get that a lot from milk, maybe milk isn't the best for maybe like 80% of the population.
Yes.
So you can get a lot of good calcium from almond milk, I think maybe soy milk or rice milk and stuff like that too. But other research to back what's better, what's worse. So what else do you have to add?
Yeah, good idea. I mean, for us, obviously, like adding salt to your water might be the best, ideal option, I guess.
Yeah.
So for us, pretty much all three of us use some sort of like electrolyte supplement. So we use an amino acid supplement that has electrolytes in it, and we sip on that during a workout just to make sure we're replenishing what we are sweating out. So that is an option as well. With that being said, we are also eating plenty of foods that are full or have those minerals and vitamins and electrolytes in them. So just keep that in mind. That is an option. So you don't have to just drink a ton of plain water. If you wanted to get a good quality electrolyte powder that's not like packed with a bunch of sugar like Gatorade, then you can do so. I guess we'll add on to that because Bethany's done this. So if you are working out for like an extended period of time, hour and a half, 2 hours, it's okay to have that sugar because you're gonna burn it off as fuel anyways. But for the most of you guys, if you're just getting like a 30-minute workout in, 45-minute workout, you're not gonna want all that sugar with it. So just getting some electrolytes will definitely help. So moving on to the sleep. So I kind of touched on it a little tiny bit. Sleep is one of the most important things that you can possibly do to take care of yourself. It's essential for recovery of your mind, which is our REM sleep, and our recovery of our body, which is our deep sleep. And the problem in the world that we live in with the technology and the screens, you're constantly in your phones and your laptops, you're watching TV before bed, we tend to get very, very poor quality sleep. And that's due to a number of things other than just your screens, due to your nutrition, your hydration, when you wake up. There's so many things that come into factor that, but we want to try to make sure we're getting good quality sleep. So there are some things that we can do to set yourself up for good quality sleep. I'll let Bethany maybe share some of the things that she does, and Nathan, and then I'll share what I do.
Yeah. One thing that I really do is temperature control, because I know that if I keep it warmer and if I wake up hot throughout the night, then I just can't sleep. Like I can't sleep when I'm warm. Like I'd much rather be cold and have to like wear a sweatshirt to bed. So I kind of get not really teased about it, but they kind of look at me funny when I say that I keep the house anywhere between like 63 and 65 degrees. It does seem really cold, but one, it saves money, energy efficient. Two, I just sleep a lot better when it's colder, and I'd rather just like add on blankets. And then I also make sure, like I try to do some sort of wind down routine. Like I noticed that, my sleep tracker always says that I get better sleep if I have some sort of like nightly routine when I wind down. I read my book and have like I have a light that dims itself, so it starts off bright and it's got like the orange tones, and it slowly gets dimmer and dimmer to where I like can't read anymore. So then that's where I like either like turn on the sleep meditation app or something like that just to like listen to and fall asleep to, and then that way the room's pretty much completely dark. Another tip is like if you do have like a light from your TV, like if you make your room completely dark, like that light is still really bright. Like you wouldn't expect it, but it is. So putting like a sticky note or something on top of it just to kind of like block it out, that's one thing. And then also just making sure that you just make sure either like you can take a supplement to wind down if you do need some help with that, or at least just try to stop eating 2 hours before bed. That's my biggest recommendation, because otherwise your heart rate's gonna actually stay up higher, and you'll probably be able to feel it a little bit more. Like I can notice when, like if I've had a meal later, I can like feel my heart rate more as I'm like trying to relax, versus if I stop eating at like 5 or 6 and like a few hours before bed, then I like feel way more calm and relaxed, versus if I had like just eaten. That's like my biggest tips.
Yeah, and the reason for that is basically because your body's working to digest and break down and utilize that food. So obviously your organs need that blood flow, and you need to keep your heart rate up higher to be able to do that process. So if you didn't have any food in your stomach, you're going to be able to just relax, and your heart rate will lower because you don't have any demands going on in your body. So, Nathan?
I actually agree with the temperature control and the lighting that you mentioned. Blue light and other stimuli that you are exposed to before bed, like just keep your brain awake and it doesn't settle down very quickly. So that's the biggest reason we say like 30 minutes before bed to get off of electronics, because that way your brain has time to come back down. I have 2 fans that run actually to keep my room cool, because my family likes to keep the house way too hot. Yeah, like you can always add blankets when it's cold, but you can't really subtract layers. If you're at the bare minimum and it's still too hot, you can't take away layers. So, and other things help me, my brain get to a resting point is like white noise, like an ASMR sort of thing, like rain sounds or thunderstorms, if you like listening to that. So where there's still like some sort of stimulus, it's actually kind of a relaxer too.
Calming.
Yeah, even though it's playing from my phone.
And the fans themselves are white noise too. So that's what I use for my white noise. I always have a fan on. It just kind of drowns out everything else. Like if something outside is really loud, and perch your it up, sometimes you can drown out that noise with the white noise or with your fan. I typically don't. We live right on the road, so there's cars going by. When we have a fan on, it just diminishes that sound quite a bit, so we don't notice it as much. So I definitely recommend the fan. Were you all done with all your tips for the sleep?
That was about it.
Okay. So for me, very, very similar. Keeping the room cool. I think we keep it like 65 when we sleep. The white noise, pitch black room is another big thing, and I totally agree with the TV. Even that bright light on the TV. Your skin has photoreceptors, so if your head is obviously on the covers, or maybe your feet, or your leg, or your arm, that light is hitting those photoreceptors on your skin and can actually disrupt your sleep. So they actually did a study where they put a flashlight on the back of somebody's knee while they slept and measured it compared to when they didn't have the flashlight, and it basically disrupted their sleep. They didn't get as much deep sleep or REM sleep, and they were fidgeting a lot more. So the photoreceptors in your skin are actually very sensitive to that, and it will keep you awake essentially. So that, and then I also do use we use Sleep Multiplier, which is a supplement that's got melatonin, zinc magnesium is another good one. Just ingredients to help you relax, kind of fall asleep faster. I also I try to read for at least 30 minutes before bed as well. So just kind of setting yourself up for a good night's sleep is going to be very, very important. Another big thing is I would recommend trying to set a bedtime and a wake up time that's consistent throughout the week. So if you're like going to bed at random times every single day and then waking up at different times every day, you're gonna throw off your sleep cycle. So I would try to kind of stay within like an hour or so of each other. Try to go to bed, let's say around 9 or 10 every night, and wake up around the same time every morning. That will really help with your sleep cycles. And also try not to hit snooze. That just kind of sets yourself up for failure during the day, because it's like you want to try to have a quick win in the morning. If you constantly hit snooze and you fall behind, next thing you know you're in a big rush and you might not get your breakfast made, your water drank, things like that, then you're not going to have as good of a day. So we want to try to make sure that we're setting ourselves up for success going into the day, which is another really, really important thing of taking care of yourself. And that kind of moves into the next level of our talk, which is kind of the mindset and mindfulness. So you need to decide that you want to get better every day, you want to feel better, you want to get healthier, and just live your best life and become your best self. So that's a mindset switch. It doesn't have anything to do with your lifestyle, how busy you are, what level you're at. It has nothing to do with that. It all depends on, do I want to become better, yes or no, and do I have what it takes to actually put in the effort? Unfortunately, we are, as humans, we don't like to put effort toward much because we want immediate gratification without having to work for it, essentially. And unfortunately, eating healthy, exercising, drinking water, setting yourself up for a good night's sleep, that all takes effort and time that we don't want to invest. But if you do, we can promise you the payoff is well worth it. So I'll let these guys kind of chime in and talk about their mindset and some things that you can do to help you guys out.
Yeah, so one thing, I was listening to an audiobook. The book is called 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson. And rule 2 is treat yourself like someone you are responsible for helping. Because like he gives the example of, people will go, they might not even fill a prescription for themselves if they have, they have to get some sort of medication that's going to help them or, improve their life somehow. And 1/3 of them don't even go and get it filled. 1/3 of them will fill it, but then they don't take it or don't take the recommended dosage or anything like that, or they stop after a while. But if their dog needs it, they'll go and get their dog their medicine and make sure it's on a schedule and they're taking it, their full dose and everything like that. Or if their kids need it, something like that. So like it kind of goes back to like a lot of different psychological things of like why we actually don't take care of ourselves. And it's really interesting. Why we're able to take care of children and dogs better than ourselves is because we view them as like innocent and like helpless, and like we have to help them because they can't take care of themselves. So we like feel obligated to make sure that they're getting their nutrition, they have their bed and their wake time, and they make sure that they're trying to drink more water and all these different things that we do for them but not for us.
It's very interesting, actually. I find it weird that you have a specific bedtime for your kids and wake up time, and you hold them strict to that. But then once you're adult, you don't hold yourself to any kind of schedule. Like you're almost more irresponsible as an adult than you are as a little kid.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of interesting?
It is.
So go ahead and continue. I just wanted to say that.
Which I think part of that is kind of what Jordan Peterson mentions in the book is like the reason we like self-sabotage ourselves or we don't take care of ourselves is like you understand your own faults completely and better than anyone else. So like all the reasons you like don't deserve these kind of things. Like you almost punish yourself for your failures. Like you punish yourself for whatever qualities that aren't good or any mistakes you've made. And like whether it's consciously or subconsciously, you're self-sabotaging yourself because of that in order to like withhold something good, like feeling better, feeling more energy. Like you don't take care of yourself to punish yourself, which is really, it's kind of a backwards thing, but that's kind of like how it goes through. And then when you hear people talking about self-care of like, yes, you're worthy, you're enough and all these things, you think, well, it doesn't matter what other people say because they don't know my story. They don't know, the mistakes I made or whatever. Or they're like, I don't know if I'm worth the time and the effort to do that, but you are. Like you're important to someone else in your life, or whether it's your dog, your kids, your family, friends, co-workers, just society as a whole. Like you play a part. Unless you're just sitting and breathing, I don't know, like you're doing something to contribute to society. Like just you being here, so that's why it's important to treat yourself like someone you're responsible for having. Like if you wouldn't want your friends to go through like certain things, like you want your friends to take care of themselves. You want their families to take care of themselves. Why wouldn't you treat yourself like you would want your family or how you would treat your family? Yeah.
I try to give myself something to look forward to the next day as well. So like I've been on a smoothie kick. I keep talking about it, but
which is good nutrition as well.
It is. It's great nutrition, but that helps me get up and like, I guess I can have another smoothie. It's my breakfast sometimes. So I just, it's just one of those fun things that's still good for me. So, and not just like on the nutrient level, but the hydration level too, I think.
Yeah.
I actually didn't have a lot for that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a good point. Like I wanted to kind of say, I write down like 3 things that I want to accomplish next day. Like he looks forward to doing that, so it kind of helps him get up and have a positive mindset going into the day. Same thing here. Like I try to write down 3 things that I want to get done the next day, but I also write down 3 things that I'm grateful for every morning, just to kind of help put myself into a positive mindset, remind myself that my life isn't so bad. I have a lot of things to be grateful for. Typically every single morning I'm going to write down how I'm grateful for my friends and my family, my fiance, my dog, my parents, my brothers, my sisters-in-law, And then I write down, I'm grateful for, my coaches and staff. I wouldn't be here without everybody that's helped me, everybody that's a part of this team. And I also write down that I'm grateful for the members and the clients that have trusted us to help them. Those are the top 3 things that I write down like pretty much every morning that I'm thankful for. And that just puts me in more of a positive mindset. And I usually tend to have a really good day after that because I'm not thinking about all the things that I don't do right or I haven't done yet or that I did wrong or something like that. I'm thinking about all the things that are going well and all the things that I'm thankful for. So that kind of ties into the gratitude and the mindset. So I just figured I'd throw that in there. I really think that that's powerful. And going back to, thinking about like taking care of yourself like you're responsible for somebody else, that's a great point. And I just want to say you can't take care of other people unless you take care of yourself. You have to put your mask on first in an airplane before you can put it on your kid or anybody else next to you. So you need to just keep that in mind and thinking about, how would I feel if somebody I loved all of a sudden, developed heart disease or diabetes or died of a heart attack or something like that. Like if they weren't taking care of themselves, how dramatic would it be to me if something happened to them? And then think about that. Somebody feels the same way about you in that situation. There are people that are going to be completely traumatized if something ever happened to you. So that should be a big enough reason to take this stuff seriously in and of itself. And then the last thing we want to talk about is just the relationships, and we could also tie in environment with this. So obviously, if you have some toxic relationships, or if you're spending time with people that are a negative impact on your life, maybe they don't take care of themselves, they eat poorly, or maybe they're dragging you down a little bit. You want to try to separate yourself from those people. Unfortunately, even if they're close friends or family, take some time away, improve yourself. And what a lot of times we see happen is actually those people that are bringing you down will wonder what the heck you're doing, and they will want to get better themselves. So instead of just going downhill altogether as a group, you need to kind of stand up, take a look at where you're going and where you want to go, and start to adopt some of these healthy habits and take care of yourself, and they will be asking you what you're doing. I can almost guarantee it. So
yeah, kind of on that is you do want to try to cut out the toxic, or surround yourself with people that are like-minded or have the same goals as you. That's one of the best things of the trainer talks and everything like that. We get together and we all have the goals of just helping more people. So it's really cool to just be part of that environment and having good people around that also have the same lifestyle habits as you, versus have people for me, I don't go out on the weekends. I'm usually in bed by 10. I'm I gotta get home. If I'm going out to dinner or something, I'm I gotta be back by 10. I gotta be in bed. And so just making sure that the people around you understand that. And if they don't, that's okay. Maybe your lifestyle's not for them. And you have to understand that, and so do they. So maybe you just don't hang out as much, and you don't have to completely cut them out. Another big thing is just making sure if you do have someone that is kind of either a toxic relationship or something, just make sure that you fill your life with good social interactions, kind of imbalance that, or that way you can kind of move towards something good, and then it kind of motivates you to move away from anything that might be toxic or holding you back. Another just quick tip is more social and less social media. It's way better to get your interactions from people, and I love when I get lost in an interaction with someone and I forget to look at the time, and I'm oh shoot, we've been chatting here in a PT session. We are we're still doing the session and everything, but you just get so focused on the interaction, and you're having good conversation that the hour is just oh wow, the hour's up. That's kind of disappointing. And where you're just you're with certain people that give you an energy boost, and you don't feel you have to take a nap afterwards because the interaction was draining. I know this guy talks about that a lot, battery chargers versus battery trainers. So making sure that, you know, we're spending less time draining the batteries here and in ourselves. I also notice that, like, if I am on social media more, that, like, my mood overall is just a lot worse. Like, I don't know what it is, but if it's something subconscious or if it's just the way that they kind of work our minds, the better, like, the less you can be on social media, the better, in my opinion.
Yeah, and actually, real quick, that kind of reminded me of something that I think could be really, really powerful for some of you guys. We are still social creatures, even though we live in a tech world. And when you think about the real reason why we do anything, like going out to the bar or going out to dinner, it's not because we love going out to the bar and partying so much. It's because we love getting together with the people that we like and getting together and socializing. That's the real reason we do it. I mean, if you were by yourself, you wouldn't throw a huge party and drink yourself until you passed out. I mean, hopefully most of you guys aren't doing that, but you guys know what I mean. So, like, when you think about the real reason that you do get together with friends, although most of the time it's going to be going out or getting drinks or something like that, it's no different if you get together with friends at the gym and do a workout. You're still getting that social interaction, except this way is a healthy habit as opposed to an unhealthy habit. So just getting together with people that you like spending time with, getting lost in conversation, that is extremely healthy for you. That would be an example of taking care of yourself. We just want to tell you that it doesn't have to be a negative thing. It doesn't have to be going out and getting pizza and ice cream every single Friday. It could be something more positive, or, you know, it doesn't have to be going out to the bar every weekend just to see your friends. You could do something else as well. You want to be social, but you want to be careful about how unhealthy and how often you're doing that type of thing. Like she said, it can be in moderation. You know, obviously you can do anything in moderation. You can still enjoy those drinks, you can still enjoy that food. Just try to not do it all the time.
Quick notes on taking care of people or taking care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself first, how would you take care of other people? Like, I think you mentioned that before,
Yes.
but I want to rephrase that. So you come first all the time. Not to be self-centered, but to be considerate towards yourself. And even if you're trying to help other people, you have to consider the fact as well that people don't always want to be helped. Like, you can't offer help if they refuse to take it, right? So, like, I have friends that actually think they want help sometimes, and they ask me for tips because they see my lifestyle. Then when I suggest they make certain changes, they refuse it, or they reject that ideology behind those parts of my lifestyle. So that kind of goes back into the battery drainer aspect that Taylor likes to refer back to. But and the other thing, going back to Bethany's social media note, was I think maybe part of the reason your mood changes is because social media in itself can be quite toxic. So yeah, I think that's all I had. So
Yeah, for sure. So just to kind of recap, you guys, we want you guys to try to adopt this lifestyle and these healthy habits so that hopefully you can improve your lives. So just try to start improving your nutrition. So start eating a little healthier. Try to move your body every day, hydrate yourself. So try to that tip of drinking about 12 to 20 ounces of water as soon as you wake up. Try to set yourself up for good quality sleep. Try to practice, you know, just reading off a couple things that you're grateful for every morning before you start your day. You know, what are you grateful for? What's going really well in your life? Try to change that mindset from, you know, I can't do this, I can't do that, I'm not good enough, I'm overweight, I'm not fit enough, I don't have the time, to how can I make the time? I can get better. You know, change the way you talk to yourself, and that will dramatically change your attitude. It will change your results. You'll get way better results. You know, if you're coming in here and you're putting in the work and you're saying, I'm still weak, I'm still fat, I'm still slow, whatever, you're still gonna be at that level. You're never going to progress until you can change your mindset and have that growth mindset. So that's what we want for you guys. Also, just building stronger relationships. We mentioned just surrounding yourself with like-minded people. You know, socializing with people with similar goals as you is also going to help you guys on your journey. So hopefully these things help. We want to see you guys adopting these habits. Go ahead and practice them and try to do it consistently every day, because it's an investment in yourself, and you'll notice that you'll get better and better and better at it as time goes on. It is an investment in yourself. just like you invest in your money to let that grow over time. It's the same thing. So practice these, you guys. Hopefully this helps. If you want to see more videos, make sure you like and subscribe, hit the notification bell. We also have a podcast version on Castbox, which I'll include the link to. But until next time, stay healthy, and we'll see you guys soon.